everybody, this is Arkady Frekhtman, a New York City personal injury trial attorney, and welcome to Last Week Tonight, where we answer your questions and we talk about your comments. It's all about you, the viewer, in this episode, and we are starting right now. So the first question we have here is from a Suzette Laws. It's about 2 weeks ago, so we're a little behind. We're going to try to catch up. And she says, thanks for the information. My lawyer is telling me that he doesn't think the insurance company will settle, and there was no injury to my car. However, the guy who hit me, his car was totaled, and mine was as well because they paid for it. Secondly, I'm in Westchester, and trial may be tricky, and I refuse to settle for less than $750. I had spinal fusion surgery on my knee and a second injury on a knee, previous damage, plus injections in my back. They admitted fault, but fighting hard not to pay. I don't feel too optimistic. And she does a little sad face. Well, it's hard to say without looking at the file. I'd like to maybe do a consult with you. Feel free to text me. I think you may have texted me already, so I'll give you a call. I'll try to call you this week. 347-566-9595. Anybody could text me and we could schedule a consult. I think I looked at this case just on ATTY LAW, which is like the court's computer. I took a quick look, so I'll take a look again. There's not so much I could see there, but it seems like the case, Westchester is not necessarily a bad venue. It may be a little bit harder than, let's say, the Bronx, but if you spend the time picking the right jury, if you just spend a little bit more time in jury selection and try to talk about all of the issues, right? All of the fears, all of the problems that could lead to a poor verdict. And then the people that are not your jurors, the people that are not going to help you, you can try to get rid of them either for cause or you do have some preemptory challenges. Now, if you then are left with 6 jurors that are are open-minded, that can give you that large verdict, like $750,000 or more that you're interested in, then you have a shot. That's all you're really asking for is, do I have a shot? You want to be able to go in there and explain, look, I had a fusion, I had a knee injury, it wasn't my fault, my car was totaled, and I'm just looking for fair compensation. I'm not looking for, a payday, I'm not looking for a lottery, I'm just looking for fair and just compensation. And the fact that there wasn't, I'm not sure what he means when he says there wasn't much damage to your car if it was totaled. If it's totaled, there was a lot of damage, but I'd have to look at the photos and the property damage estimates, and all of that plays a role, but there are always like counter arguments. There's always like, for example, if somebody says, hey, there's no damage to your car, you could not have been hurt from this crash because there's no damage to your car. There's a lot of counter arguments to that. And there's a lot of actually like biomechanics and I believe forensic evidence that you can get hurt. Like the whipping, the whiplash can happen even at low impacts because you get hit, your head snaps forward, snaps back. That could happen. And, you could still get hurt without there being visible property damage. If there was visible property damage, like bent metal, it's even stronger for you. But there's a lot of, the one lawyer, for example, does this thing where he says, if you say that there's no damage to the car, then imagine if I'm like, a 40-year-old man and I sit in this chair and somebody comes running across the courtroom and kicks that chair in the back, like as hard as they can with their leg. And I fall out of the chair and I grab my back and I'm like, ow, I'm so injured. Why did you kick the back of my chair so hard? And I'm laying on the ground and I'm writhing in pain. And then the person who kicked the chair comes up to me and says, you know what? Look at the chair. Look at the chair. There's no damage to this chair. There's no damage. You could not have been hurt. You're a faker, And he does that in the courtroom, like a little demonstration like that. And he wins those cases because it's true. You could be hurt without there being damage to the car, just like you could be hurt. Somebody kicks that chair with all their might. It doesn't have to be damage to the chair. And, and the other analogy is like when you go to the supermarket, right? You look at a carton of eggs. Why do you open the carton? If the carton is in good shape, right? There's no damage to the carton. Why do people open the carton and make sure the eggs aren't broken? So, there's a lot of counter arguments to that. And I'd be happy to speak with you. I was a little busy. I apologize because I had a bunch of depositions like last week, but now things are freeing up a little bit with the holidays coming, so I'm happy to speak to you this week and help you if I can. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. I think these questions are actually from Thanksgiving, so we're a little bit behind. We got to catch up. People commenting about you're naming the symptoms I have for brain injury. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, brain injury is very, very serious. Okay. Clear explanation. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that, when we speak and we explain things that it's clear. That's awesome. Here's a question from a Mark Mansour, and he says, hey, I just did a fusion surgery through workers' comp on my L4, L5, and L5S1. And during the surgery, the doctor hit one of my nerves where I had so much pain and lost some movement in my foot. So far, it's been 2 years on my case. I think I have a weak attorney, so I have no idea how much my case is worth, or should I look for another attorney? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a serious injury. If you have a workers' comp case, it just depends. Is it straight workers' comp, meaning it's only the work injury? Straight workers' comp in New York, at least, is just like health insurance, right? They pay for your lost wages and they pay for you to go get your medical care, but you don't sue anyone. So there's no payday. There's no third-party lawsuit that's going to get compensated. If you have a workers' comp or a work accident, but you also have a third-party lawsuit against someone, then it's definitely a different story. It could be a huge case. You could get paid from the workers' comp as well as the third-party lawsuit. And the injuries you describe are very, very serious. Now, the fact that the doctor hit a nerve and made it worse, that's a foreseeable, consequence. That's something that could happen. And in the New York pattern jury instructions, it's actually foreseeable. Medical malpractice is foreseeable. So you don't have to sue the doctor in a different lawsuit. What you do is you just sue for let's say the work injury. If you're suing someone for that, like a premises liability injury, then the fact that the doctor made it worse is foreseeable. So it's just considered natural sequelae. It flows from the original, whatever it was, a car crash or a slip and fall. It flows from that. It's just your treatment, and the fact that a doctor made it a little bit worse is something that happens. So you get all your damages from the original incident, whatever it was. Now, this doesn't say how it happened or what happened, so feel free to text me, 347-566-9595. Let me know how it happened. Let me know what happened, and then I'm happy to help you. I could schedule a consult. It sounds like it could be a really, really big case. And, if it's not in New York, I work with a lot of excellent partners all over the country, some of the top trial lawyers, so I'm happy to help you with that. Okay, then Leonardo Cuevas says, great video as always. Thank you so much. And then we have another comment from Atrina March, and she says, I woke up with horrible back pain, took all kinds of meds, did physical therapy, had injections in my back. I went for a surgery, L4, L5, S1, 6 screws, 2 rods. 2 weeks later, I was into surgery with an infection. A wound vac was inserted. I had to have it for 4 months. I lost my job. I had my left knee replaced. I went back in September. The doctor said, why is your right foot numb? I said, it's been that way since surgery. He sent me to a neurosurgeon. He told me that the L5 was out of place. He said he would replace it. I was hesitant because of the infection, but he went ahead with another surgery. The hardware failed. He found 1 rod bent, 1 rod broke, and a screw broke. Nobody seems to know why, so everything was replaced. He gave me what he took out. I still have a dropped foot. I talked with others that told me there was no case. What's your answer? It sounds like it could be potentially a case. In order to determine whether or not you have a medical malpractice case, whether the doctor deviated from good and accepted medical practice, the only way to really find out is you have to get all the medical records. You'd have to do a detailed client interview to find out exactly what happened, get all the medical records, show those medical records along with the client interview to your own spinal surgeon, a plaintiff's expert, right? Our expert. And then that doctor would have to say, you know what, I do see some issues here, some mistakes. I think the case has merit. Then you could file a lawsuit against the doctor. But it's difficult. Those cases are difficult. Hardware could break on its own. Although from this, it sounds like something went wrong. Hardware shouldn't break like that. That's a lot of that's a lot of broken hardware. So it sounds like it could be a mistake, but there's no way to tell from a comment. You'd really have to get all the medical records. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Here's a question. Hello, Mr. Frekhtman. How much do you think my case is worth? I was hit in San Diego, California in 2020, a rear end accident. The person who hit me is 100% at fault. There was car damage, it was minor on my bumper. It's a dent, you can clearly see, but it's not anything crazy to the naked eye. I was a healthy young 20-year-old football player in junior college working 2 full-time jobs before I was hit. No prior back injuries. I have had over 60 physical therapy visits, 2 epidural injections, 1 cortisone shot, 4 chiropractor visits. All of the treatment failed. I had to get a micro discectomy with a rhizotomy at L4, L5. I am 5 months post-surgery, still in pain. The available insurance is $250,000. I'm currently in discovery. Umbrella and excess policies are unknown at this moment. Please let me know what you think about my case. I don't think I'm done with treatment because I'm still in pain, but the lawsuit has already started. So yeah, I mean, in New York, it would definitely be worth $250,000, maybe more. I'm not sure about San Diego, but in San Diego, from what I've seen from my friends and other people in California, it seems like the numbers there are pretty good, the same as New York, if not even better. Some people are getting really, really big numbers out there. So I think it's a great case. I would definitely find out about that excess and umbrella. You have to know how much there is before you start negotiating, right? Because if there's more than $250,000, then why limit yourself to the $250,000? If you already had a micro discectomy, if you end up needing something else like a fusion, it could be a multi-million-dollar case. But already with the micro discectomy, with the rhizotomy, it could definitely be worth way more than, like we had a micro discectomy type case with a percutaneous discectomy and it went for $550,000. So if you're saying that this is $250,000, if they have a million excess, if you get the same kind of verdict, like $650,000, $700,000, you could collect on that. So I would definitely go for as much as possible. And yeah, just feel free to text me if you have any questions. I mean, I'm happy to help. It sounds like a strong case. I'm sorry you're going through that. That's really, like, I don't like to see things like that. The young guy is playing football and now he's hurt because of somebody else's negligence. It's terrible. It's just terrible. And I hope that he gets justice. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Trying to get you guys the best questions that are interesting for you. I may skip over a few that I answered before, or the same people that we've already, answered their questions before. Here is a quick question. I am in Georgia. Here in my home, my neighbor backed into my box truck and busted the gas tank and more. My truck has been towed for safety reasons. What should I do after getting their insurance information? So yeah, so if you had your truck parked outside your home and your neighbor hit it, I guess what I would do is just take photos of everything, document everything, get a written statement from your neighbor, or maybe even like get him on video with your cell phone admitting to what he did so that you have it preserved, because you never know. Like sometimes people get into a car crash. One guy hits somebody else in the back, right? Then they say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, it's my fault. Then the police come 30 minutes later. Sometimes in New York, you have to wait for the police. When the police come, you know what they say? He backed into me. That all of a sudden the story changes, So be careful, protect yourself, get it on video, get a statement if it's your neighbor. I'm hoping your neighbor's not gonna lie. Submit it to the insurance. They should take care of it if it's just property damage. If you have an injury, then of course you can get medical care, you could hire a local lawyer. So it just depends on what happened, but it sounds like it's a pretty straightforward case. Okay, here's another question. I think from Eric Medina. I think we actually talked about one of his questions in the last video. He asks, I got hit by a commercial vehicle from a very big, well-known company with a friend. Day after the accident, all downhill, chiropractor, epidurals, radio frequency ablation, plasma transfusion, C2, C4 replacement, C5 fusion of the neck, plus bone graft, L4, L5 replacement, plus S1 fusion, 2 different opinions, 2 different doctors, 1.5 years now. I think surgeries are my last option. My arm is getting numb and my leg and glute pain on and off. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like a very, very serious injury. I hope you get better. I mean, you have to make that decision with your doctor as to whether or not to have surgery. Sometimes there are non-surgical options, like some physical therapy or some other options, like minimally invasive surgery. But if you're having something like that where you have arm numbness and just excruciating pain that's not getting better, sometimes you do have to have surgery and just excruciating. And then, yeah, feel free to text me if you need a consultation. I don't know where this is, or if you have a lawyer, if you're happy with your lawyer, if you need a consultation with somebody else, a second opinion, whatever you need, give me a call, send me a text, 347-566-9595. It's free. I'm happy to speak with you and help you out. Okay. The next question from Trax 102. Hey, I was involved in a rear end accident in Staten Island last year in December. I just have a few questions if you mind answering. Could I shoot you a DM on Instagram or your email? Yeah, absolutely. You could email me. My email is contact@866-ATTYLAW.com. And our website is the same. It's 866-ATTYLAW.com. And that's also our phone number, 866-ATTYLAW.com. Well, just LAW, and then no.com for the phone number. But it's like basically attorney law. So it's 866-ATTY-LAW, attorney, abbreviation for attorney law. So you could call us as well. But better if you want to get me, because, we have a firm of about 20 people here. We have other attorneys, we have paralegals. So if you want to get me, best thing to do is to just text me directly. That way I get it on my phone. I could text you back. We could schedule something, and I could just do a consult call with you. 347-566-9595. That's my, but you could text me there. Okay, and then we have another question here. I had an accident. A city garbage truck hit my car. I have gone for arthroscopic shoulder surgery, and after pain management therapy, an injection in my neck. The pain still, and finally the surgeon told me to have to replace the herniated disc 2 and 3. Please, can you tell me how much my case is worth? I'm suffering a lot. Still, my shoulder cannot hold and heavy things. My shoulder cannot hold. The city garbage truck, now I don't know where, if it's in New York City, right? If it's here in New York City, a city garbage truck would be a strong case because there's no limit. It's not like you have 100,000 and that's the limit, right? With the city, it's unlimited. It's the budget of the city, which could be even like millions and millions of dollars. There's no ceiling. So that's good. I mean, arthroscopic shoulder surgery, usually those are worth anywhere from like, say, 200,000, 150, but then you're talking about pain management, neck injections, that could be worth like 500,000. And then you're talking about having to do a replacement, like a fusion or replacement of a disc. That's much more. That could be into the millions. So altogether, if you add all that up, it could be 2 million or more. So it sounds like a very serious case. Feel free to text me if you need a consult at 347-566-9595. Happy to speak with you. It sounds like, if the garbage truck was at fault, if you were not at fault, then it's just a question of damages, right? It's just a question of showing all your damages. So it would depend on showing how it affected your life, like your family, if you have children, if you have, friends, how it impacted you. Who were you before this happened, and how has your life changed after this crash? And, medical records are one part. Doctors, of course, explaining the medical impact is a big part, but also just a little bit about you, your biography, your life story, what I like to call the human story. Life changed after this crash, because ultimately the jurors are just people. And if they see somebody has really been changed and it's a forever life-changing injury, they're more likely to allow for big compensation, big money, in order to put you back to where you were before, in order to help you. So yeah, definitely a strong case. Okay, let's see what else we have. Some comments. Oh, here's a comment. My case is almost settled. Oh yeah, that's from one of our clients, I think. She says, thank you for your continued efforts. Yeah, she had actually a very interesting case, like a little bit of a different case. So it took a little bit of time, but I think now we're getting some bigger offers, and we tried one of those settlement opportunity letters on her case, and for your continued efforts. Yeah, so that's good. Do you have a partner in Chicago? Yeah, we do. We have excellent trial attorneys in Chicago. I don't like to say who it is, because I like to really do more of a custom fit kind of, what type of case. Like if you had a civil rights case, there's one lawyer in Chicago, but if you had a trucking crash, there would be another one. So I'd rather do a consult, but I'm happy to help you with Chicago, no problem. Here's a question from Isidore Aliri, or Alire. I've had several concussions. I lost the use of my left hand and leg for a while. I get crushing headaches and vertigo intermittently. Focal seizures at least 3 times a week. I get angry easily and more often. Short-term memory issues. It has been very humbling. Yeah, that's terrible. That's that's a symptom of traumatic brain injury, and I think she's commenting on our video, is a concussion a TBI, from brain injury attorneys. So yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry that happened to you, and it's a life-changing injury. A TBI is very, very serious. Let me see. Here's a question from King of Kings' daughter. So my case manager told me that my medical bills turned out to be $39K and the limit is $50K. She said that the first offer was sent and will get back with me this week. I'm only 27 years old and suffered a lodged disc that wasn't there before. X-rays to prove it. My quality of life has drastically plummeted and my mobility has become more limited than what I'm used to. What should I expect next? This accident happened in 2021 and just now we're finally getting somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. That's a serious injury. I need to know like which city you're in, and I would find out the full bodily injury limits and have your lawyer try to obtain all of them, meaning the excess, the umbrella, the supplemental, there could be other coverages. And then it's a serious injury. Now the medical bills are $39,000. I guess the limit is $50K. In New York, we have a $50K limit for medical bills, but that's different, right? Because that's no fault. And just because you reach the no fault limit, it doesn't affect you for the bodily injury. It's 2 different policies. So you get $50,000 PIP, personal injury protection. It's like health insurance. It'll pay for all your medical bills. And then you could also sue. So if the person who hits you has like $1 million, you get that. The $50,000 doesn't affect you at all. Yeah, so she said the first offer was sent. So yeah, see what the first offer was, speak with them. If you're happy with your attorney, definitely go in and have like a face-to-face with them. That's always good. Meet with them, talk with them, see what they recommend. But, don't always agree to the first offer. Sometimes you could be entitled to much more. And it sounds like if it's a herniated disc, you have all the proof, your quality of life has suffered. Even if it's just a herniated disc and you haven't had any surgery, you haven't had any procedures, no epidurals, right? No percutaneous discectomy, no spinal fusions, nothing like that. But it's just a herniated disc and you're going to the physical therapy doctor, but your quality of life has really plummeted. Maybe you're laying in bed and you just can't do what you used to do before. Well, then tell that story, right? Show that biography, get on the phone with your lawyer, have him interview you, have him interview your friends, your family, have them available as witnesses, exchange their names and addresses, so that if the case goes to court, you have your physical therapy doctor, but the fact that you haven't done any surgeries is okay because now you have all of these community witnesses, this circle of friends and people from your work, people from your neighbors, family, friends. They can come to court. You have this army of almost like a community army, right? They could all come to court and say, look, this person's life has changed. And each person could be on the witness stand for like 5 or 10 minutes. But that's overwhelming evidence. There's no way the insurance company, who are they going to have? They're going to have this one IME, DME doctor, right? And that doctor is going to examine you for like 2 minutes and he or she is going to say, you're not hurt. So it's that one hired gun doctor against all this army of community witnesses. Who's going to win? Of course you are. So that's what I recommend. You're not hurt. So it's that. Next question. It's from Jarrett Allen. I got hit by a commercial van. Is the insurance policy the same as a tractor trailer? Also, do they have an umbrella policy as well? I got hit on the job from behind, been out of work for 6 months. I got 3 injections in my shoulder, 2 injections in my back. Hospital diagnosed me with PTSD. More than likely, I will have to have some kind of surgery on my back from a herniated disc. Injections in my back are not working. How much is my case worth? Well, a commercial van, I'd need to know where it happened, and perhaps in order to find out what the policy is, you really have to ask your attorney if you have an attorney, or if you don't have an attorney, you'd have to hire an attorney because every policy is different, right? So if it's a commercial van, it's not always the same as a tractor trailer. Like a tractor trailer could even be different. Tractor trailers usually have to have at least $1 million in coverage. But then some companies, like a big company, might have more. They might have $1 million with $5 million umbrella with another layer after that, right? So it just depends on each particular defendant, because insurance is something you can purchase, and you can purchase the limits. Just like I can go out and I can buy myself a $25,000 insurance policy with, let's say, Countrywide, right? That's a cheap company here in New York. But I could also go out with Geico and buy myself a $250,000. And then if I want, I can go buy an umbrella. And an umbrella actually isn't that expensive. It's like $800 a year, and I could buy a $5 million umbrella. But hey, maybe I get the renewal notice in the mail, and if I forget to pay it, or I forget to just send in the check, then all of a sudden it's gone. I don't have that $5 million anymore. So it just depends on that particular company, that particular commercial, particular company. You got hit from behind, or I was out of work, you might have to have surgery, PTSD. That's all very, very serious. I would work that up. Like the PTSD should be worked up with a neurologist, just like a traumatic brain injury. If you need the surgery, then definitely. It could be a very big case. It could be 7 figures, meaning into the millions. But we need to know like where it happened and what all the circumstances are. So yeah, feel free to give us a call or to just text me, and I'd be happy to jump on a call and just do a consultation with you. It's no obligation, just to help out. Let me see here. And then they do a follow-up comment about PTSD, that they were diagnosed with anxiety, depression, post-concussion syndrome. And it's a work-related injury, and they're going to workers' comp. And yeah, so it's definitely serious. I mean, it definitely could be very, very serious. It could be a multi-million-dollar case. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. King of Slots, 11 to 21 year car was totaled by a private owned tank. I have 2 herniated discs in my neck and back. I've had 2 steroid injections in my neck and back. My first settlement offer was only to cover medical bills. I feel like something is wrong. I didn't settle. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like, and he says it happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he wanted to contact me. So I gave him my number. That's interesting, a tank. I don't know if he means like a tanker truck or a tank, actual tank. Wow. But 2 herniated discs, steroid injections. Yeah, it could definitely be worth more. And I do have some good lawyers that I know that are excellent trial lawyers in Oklahoma, so I'm happy to help with that. Let's see, what other questions? Oh, here's a question. Do defense attorneys watch your channel, and adjusters? If I have a brain injury, should I be worried? Well, I don't know. We'd have to ask them. I don't know if they watch. But watch, and maybe they could learn something, and maybe they can improve their practices by watching some of our information, some of our knowledge. And, we definitely don't want the defense lawyers and the defense insurance adjusters, because they're the one holding the purse strings, right? They're the ones who are paying everyone. So we want to get them as informed as possible so they can make fair payments and stop all these shenanigans and, roadblocks. And we want to have kind of like a new era, right? Like a renaissance of personal injury where we're more fair. Just like we've made a lot of strides in other areas in the world, we can make strides here too with civil justice. Okay. Let's see what other question. We're getting kind of into the almost 30-minute mark. Okay, so maybe we'll do like one more question, and then all the rest of the questions we'll save for later. Let's see, try to find one more question. Here's a quick question from Ricky Harris. He says, hey, good morning, Arkady. Do you think neglecting property damage where people can get hurt entering the property or lot can be punitive damages without any warning signs to the public of the damage? No, I mean, I don't think it could be punitive. If you neglect the property, that's negligence, right? You're failing to use reasonable care. So that's negligence. Punitive is more like where it's likely to really, really injure somebody, but you do it anyway. For example, if you have a trucking company and hey, your driver is tired, they should not be driving, but you say, go ahead and drive anyway. Or your driver is like, I don't know, on drugs or he's drunk, and you say, go out and drive anyway, I don't care. I just got to get that load there. I got to get my money. When you put money over safety, that could be punitive. So here, if it's just neglecting property where they should have fixed something, like a broken staircase or whatever, a hole in the ground, that's more negligence. So that would not be punitive at least in New York. In New York, it's very hard to get punitives. I see, and they're commenting on our video about getting punitive damages. Okay, so I think we are, here's a comment from Shannon Martinez. She says, your face and the thumbnails are awesome, LOL. Thank you to get punitives. I see the thumbnails, YouTube, you have to keep the thumbnails exciting. So let's see, what other questions do we have here? Here's a comment from Mike Richards. He says, a magnificent video par excellent. And he's talking about personal injury attorneys answer your FAQs. Oh, one of these last week tonight, but it's from 10 days ago. And he says, terrific questions and understandable, logical, and wonderful answers. Thank you, sir. Your legal expertise is fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me to hear that. Thank you for watching and thank you for your kind words. Okay, and the next question we have, probably we'll do it on the next video series, is going to be from T-Mac from Reno, Nevada, a slip and fall on ice. And she has a question about what the case is worth after she tells us, or he tells us, or she tells us.